who are entrepreneurs understand this. Many times companies will put on their website or on their marketing material a mission statement. And that mission statement sometimes is 2-3 sentences long, sometimes longer. I've never before seen in my life a 2-word mission statement. The 2 words that are the mission of Wilbron, Brandon Wilson's company, are for good. For good. And if that doesn't impress you, then nothing will. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Wilson.
What up? Listen, man, I'm blessed to be here. See you, Derek. Good to see you. Alice, Scotty, what up? Listen, whenever I have an opportunity to speak to people, it's about more than just entertainment. It's about empowerment. And I like to have your permission to use these minutes to sow blessings into you, to empower you, to do what you do in a way that changes our world. Now, let me back up, because when you talk about having a global impact, the first thing that I have to recognize everywhere I go is that the first obstacle that we have to usually overcome is believing that we are worthy of changing the world. Vladimir Putin, he believed he could change the world. Warmongers all around the world, they believe they could change the world. We see them all on news. They got wars, they got machines, they got money, they got all that stuff. And we say to ourselves, man, those folks are powerful. I wish they were doing something different. But I want to challenge us today to look in the mirror and say, what can we be doing differently? So today, I want to challenge us to think about the work that we do as world-changing work. My journey to having an impact on the world, much of stuff that you talked about in the bio, and I appreciate that bio, began right here. I actually grew up right around the corner from where we standing right here. And for folks who know Birmingham, as a quick bio, I grew up in the brickyard. Gotta look that way, but it don't look like that. It didn't look like that when I was growing up. And I actually did not have the opportunity to grow up in the bricks. There was a small apartment complex right in the back called Prince Hall Apartments. And that was my first home. My whole family went to Parker High School. I said, I ain't doing that. I'm going to go to J.O. right down the street. And it's always great to be home. I've had a chance to travel extensively as a communications professional, as a management consultant, to college presidents across the country. But ain't nothing like home. I always enjoy having when I was traveling, 3 cities a week, it was nothing like being able to come home. And every time I get a request to leave Alabama, to go to Seattle or to New York or to D.C., I always ask the folks, they say, why you still in Alabama? And I always say, why you ain't in Alabama? Why you ain't here? I mean, it's just a special place, and I'm just honored to be able to share with you all today. Jerry, thank you so much for the invitation. Your leadership the impact of your leadership is present before me. And you should be incredibly proud of the results of the seeds that you are planting. Because as I look out here, I don't see people. Now, I see blackness. I see black folk, which I love. I don't get a chance to speak to a whole lot of black folk. But I love this. I love it. But what I see is potential energy. So raise your hand if you are an entrepreneur. Raise your hand. Okay, potential. All right, you can lower your hand. I just want to make sure I'm in the right room. How many people lead a division at their company? Raise your hand. All right, we got some people. How many people run a household? Right. Okay, all right. How many people have children and they have to be an example for those children? Raise your hand. All right, all right. Family, station, innovation. Every one of those areas are essential pillars to building the kind of societies that we'd like to live in. Now, what I want to talk about in the beginning of me discussing and exploring every crevice of the subject of the day, which is leadership, I want to talk about time. Why do we do the things we do and spend the time that we spend every day doing what we do? We are strange beings, right? Like, we'll wake up. Sometimes we'll sit in front of the TV, binge watch whatever we watch, and we just spend our time in different ways. If we get away from that, we will spend hours absorbed in a book. Or if we're connected to our workplace, we will spend hours of our day getting lost or consumed in the rigmarole of our corporate experiences and the businesses that we are building. We become consumed with that. And I think it's so important for us to take the time to step back, to think about how to use every second that becomes a minute, that becomes an hour, to being purposeful leaders. Because that's the one thing that makes everybody equal. Warren Buffett and Brandon Wilson may not have the same amount of money, but we got 24 hours every day. He get it, I got it. And so when I wake up running, because I know that second that left is 1 second less that I have to equal the output and impact of those folks who changing the world. So we got to catch up, and I want to start talking about time as not as a commodity that we spend, but as a thing that we leverage, a weapon that we use to create societies and places that we believe in.